I'm a native Nashvilleian, born downtown Nashville, at what's now known as St. Thomas Midtown. Back then, we used to call it St. Baptist. Actually, I started in 429. My first job was with United at Nissan in July 1991. So I've been with the local over 33 years now. I certainly did. Marshall Devine was the apprenticeship coordinator at the time, and I topped out with Elbert Carter at the helm. And an interesting fact, John Ledwell, who we called Tadpole, was in my class when we topped out. So we were class of 96.
Far out. How was your experience overall?
Uh, it was, for the most part, relatively pleasant, but not all, because of the issues we dealt with regarding classwork, regarding the difficulty in finding and learning the material, the difficulty in relations with some of the journeymen that were more interested in giving apprentices a hard time instead of teaching them the skills they needed to be competent in the electrical trade. But there were some that were good in doing the training, that hands-on, that helped stand out, where when becoming journeyman, we reflect back and realize which ones were the good teachers in the trade. Oh, there's several. Like Butcher United, for example, my first job, which it was a good experience and working with the company and what they did, uh, having what we needed, having the material and instruction, and the people there willing to train. Craig Pruitt was my first steward on that job, and I wound up being one of the final apprentices laid off that job. I stayed on that long. I've been with other ones, Amprite, Travis Electric, Edwards Electric. My most recent company I worked for out of Nashville was with Conti when I was steward at the Ultium Battery Project. Definitely. Although I don't consider myself much of a traveler, I've only gone to like a couple of dozen places. Uh, I've worked out of mostly Louisville, Evansville. I've worked out of uh, uh, Pensacola, Florida, Dallas, Texas, and a few other places. I've had some great experiences with those places because of the different atmosphere and learning how they um, handle dealing with labor and employment relations, dealing with what needs to be done on the job, being prepared to get things done. And some of those out of state contractors that when they came in to do work here, I saw how they were better prepared because of the locals they worked out of. For example, State Group, which runs Beltline and some other contractors, when they did the remodel of the Tyson plant in Shelbyville, how they were ready to go. Most recently, working at the uh, VA hospital was Henderson Electric Services, subcontractor for Hewitt, uh, all union contractors, being prepared to not only know what needs to be accomplished, having the material there on time, ready to go, but also having the instruction we need and knowing when to hold up and say, let's do a different job for the time being while we're waiting from the customer if there's a change or if there's a certain path we're supposed to be taking. And learning how we can work together as a team, even in areas where we may not be familiar with. Knowing how to find a lodging at a reasonable price, because some of these places are very expensive and are booked, whereas you got furnished finders and Airbnb, for example, offer much cheaper rates because you're dealing directly with homeowners that rent rooms and entire houses out, making it more feasible to travel and being able to bring home more money than you left home with when working all this time.